Hey Geminis, and welcome to your September 2018 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to deliver some hopefully enlightening messages to your spiritual journey this month, as I feel it is really actually quite nice for you, Gemini. You're really overcoming a lot this month. As you can see by looking at the spread, it does appear that the first half of your month of September is a bit darker than the second half, and I think that the second half of September really shows you rising above something and pushing past something which has held you back for a while. So what is the goal of everything which you have accrued now, Gemini? Page of Wands is your central theme, so there's a really strong sense of you wanting to pull everything together and either start anew or transmute everything into a new creative project. Your creativity really is your strongest asset in the month of September, and it really makes you very magnetic, as I feel for those of you who are single, there will be many new opportunities to find love or embrace even platonic friends in wonderful experiences. It does feel like you are really connecting with others this month in a way that you haven't in a long time. So for those of you who have been struggling with solitude or have felt very alone lately, I do sense old friends reaching out. I also sense plenty of opportunities to make new friends and new connections. So that's going to be really beautiful for Gemini, and I sense that coming towards the second half of the month. You do have three more heavy cards in your reading: the Seven of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and the Hanged Man. So you are still facing something. You're still dealing with something unknown and something that you haven't quite had the ability to understand the root or the beginning of, as I sense you to be truly surrounded by long-running situations or things which you thought you would get over much quicker, or things that would naturally come to an end much quicker, but they've kind of all dragged out and are still rearing their heads. There's something that is a long-term source of pain, which you are facing this month and you are tying up and dealing with, and I feel rising above. I sense by October or late September, Geminis truly have changed in some way and are really stepping into their creativity much more. Queen of Wands, Page of Wands, Strength, Two of Cups. There's such a strong possibility to face the more heavy negative feeling energies in your life with love, connection, and strength. So anyway, Gemini, I'm going to go ahead and get into the week to week, and we will see what is specifically coming up for you. In the first week of September, you have the Seven of Cups rooted down by Queen of Pentacles. I do think that some of you are not sure how to feel about an earth sign in your life, so Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. They could sort of be unclear. It could also be a lack of clarity on what you actually want. If we're thinking about Queen of Pentacles within Gemini, within yourself, what do you want? What makes you feel right? What makes you feel sturdy? And what is the best thing for you? Not necessarily the most comfortable thing, but also not the most damaging thing. What is how you actually need to move forward? There's a sense of blurriness there, so I do sense Gemini's feeling stuck or feeling like very torn in a relationship, perhaps. So for those of you who are coupled, you might think, okay, well, I really like this person and they've really given me a lot, but there's something that I can't quite put my finger on. I'm not feeling truly authentic in this. I'm not feeling truly seen in this. As I do think that a lot of other people in Gemini's life have had a strong tendency to categorize you or to accuse, not it's not really an accusation, it's more of a, like I'm saying, categorizing Gemini as a certain personality type or a certain person in their life, and sort of making you more of a blank person or a blank character, less complex. And there's been, and I've seen this in a lot of Geminis, like Geminis have felt very watered down by others. Like, these people are not understanding what I can contribute. They're not understanding the complexity of who I am, and they're making me out to be who they need me to be, not who I actually am. So that's really strong in the first week and really potent to get to the bottom of as well. And I talked a lot about Seven of Cups in Taurus reading for September, so if you guys would like to check that out, I will put it in the top right hand corner of the video, and you can click on that to see Taurus's reading, because some of you may have a lot of Taurus, since Gemini and Taurus are close together. It's very possible that you have Mercury or Venus in Taurus, but Seven of Cups does seem to be very prevalent for everyone this month too, though. It's been coming up a lot, and it feels that way to me as well because we are really pushed in general societally, I think, to clarify things and to make our desires a bit more clear to ourselves, especially because there are, I think, a lot of illusions of grandeur, which is what I correlate Seven of Cups with quite often, and a need to rise the hierarchy and a need to find power, emotional power it can be as well. So I see sometimes Seven of Cups energy when people are in codependent relationships. You know, there's sort of a power exchange that happens quite frequently in those where one person will be above the other and then it switches over. So I definitely think that if you know that you're in a codependent relationship or you're seeing a very skewed power structure within your relationships, this is an important time to come back to yourself and an important time to distance yourself from that. So could this be a breakup month for some Geminis? I definitely think that it could. Ten of Swords also being nearby really says to me that you are cutting ties and you are not going to take this laying down like you have perhaps been for a while. Because I do think that Gemini has a very strong heart right now and a very loyal instinct as well. And that's interesting for Gemini because I'm not saying that Gemini is generally not loyal, but you do tend to, not be taken advantage of. And if someone is being disloyal to you, you don't tend to stick around and be loyal to that at least. But I do sense that maybe that's changed lately and Gemini has been kind of loyal to a fault perhaps. And now it's time to reevaluate the destructive cycle that is for you, Gemini, because it does feel like there are people around you who have made decisions which pull you down pretty hard. So it's not, it's going to depend on your situation, of course, like what course of action you need to take. But I don't think that tying yourself to it, like with the Hanged Man there, really solidifying yourself in this destructive cycle, I don't think that it's the right choice right now, because what I sense is that you will start kind of lashing out as well in a sort of subconscious way. So you may start, I'm not saying that you would start to cheat or you would start to do something that was that's not what you represent, but it's possible. It's possible that Gemini could really start to separate the aspects of their life in a categoric way and almost forget what they're doing in each one. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I sense some of you, so you're in like a really codependent marriage where it's like you've been cheated on or something, and rather than just like ending that and dealing with all of that chaos, you sort of like turn your mind off a little bit and just sort of start doing whatever you have the impulse to do as well, and kind of are not forgetting that you've done it in sort of a like catatonic way, but you're distancing yourself from your own moral system perhaps if you're not able to go into that Queen of Pentacles place and really map out what's right for you, what's authentic to you, and what's authentic to your own virtue. So that's what the first week of September is about seeing that and mapping that out. And the second week is about taking the appropriate action. Now, you could see that there's a bit of a delay there with the Hanged Man as well. I mean, it's 10 of Swords reversed, rooted down by the Hanged Man. So you might feel betrayed in that month. It could be during that week that you find proof that you've needed, that you were cheated on or that you were taken advantage of in some way. And that's not going to be for all Geminis. Not all Geminis are being cheated on. But you're going to see clearly in the second week of September any mistruths or advantages that others have taken over you. You won't even have to try to search that hard, I don't think, because the Hanged Man represents to me that through stillness, you see the truth of the betrayal in the 10 of Swords. So it's not a matter of investigating everybody, of really trying to prove that others are taking advantage of you. If it's happening, it will quite naturally and easily come out, I feel. And you are going to have a period of time maybe where you have to let that sink in, and you have to face that this situation maybe didn't turn out the way that you expected it to, and you would have liked to have seen it go further. But I do feel that your recovery period is quite quick. Again, you have to remember that through whatever sort of discordant thing that is happening in that first half of September, you're rising above that with very strong creative stamina and really strong connective ability. So moving into the third week, King of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by Two of Cups. You can see quite strongly perhaps how when things fall through or when these sort of tangible ideas that you have become reversed, how that connects you with the right people or the right path or the right company. you truly are connecting with something amazing in the third week. I'm so happy to see Two of Cups for you. For some of you, it could represent connecting with yourself. Although I also sense it's kind of interesting how the Page of Wands in the central theme position blurs out one of the figures in the Two of Cups. So there is a message there that's actually quite potent, and I'm so happy that it's channeling through. Be aware of your creative force and your optimism, your spontaneity, allowing you to paint a certain picture of someone that you're connecting with. So say you connect with someone who is a nice person or a good person, and you know they're sweet, they're cool, they're nice, but through your, I don't know, just broad sense of power right now, you allow that to reflect back towards you. So you might see in others what you're wanting to see, not what's actually there. Do watch out for that. That's the best way to word it if you need to like rewind and hear that again. Because with Seven of Cups in the reading, with Ten of Swords in the reading, there's a sense of blurriness and, you know, generalized white lies or mistruths. So make sure that when you are connecting with people, you're not seeing only what you want to see. That's going to be important because most of you are going to see something incredible and most of you are going to have wonderful connections. Is it long term? I can't quite divine that from what I'm seeing in this reading. I'm not sure, honestly. It's going to depend what happens in October and how you've stepped over that line from the second to the third week. But for all of you, there's a wonderful opportunity to connect with yourself. I do interpret the Two of Cups as a self-connection as well. And one way or another, even if you are projecting a bit onto someone else, it's a very benevolent and healing energy, in my opinion. So enjoy that. And it's a rebirth, too. It's a young energy. It's a young, healthy, and healing, as I was saying, energy to encounter. So do enjoy the third week because there is a blessing there. Just again, beware of taking things really quickly because you're seeing something that you want to see. And then you're stepping into the fourth week, Queen of Wands, rooted down by Strength reversed. So you are stepping back into a more fiery persona. Either that or you're meeting a feminine fire energy, Sag, Aries, Leo, who is really helping to lift your spirits and maybe introducing you to the type of people that you've wanted to meet for a long time. There's a sense of really being popular, I think, in the fourth week, or really being wanted by others and esteemed. There's a sense of being esteemed in the fourth week, which is really beautiful for you. And you've got to find strength in that. That is rooted down by Strength reversed. So for some reason, something might not be clicking, Gemini. It's important that you find strength in these benevolent contacts that you are establishing, in seeing how wanted you are by others, in seeing how even if it's not wanted, more like respected, that's a better word, respected by others or assumed by others. It's important for that to help you gain strength and to not discredit that or limit the impact of that on your own esteem for yourself. Because it's like it goes over your head or it goes through one ear and out the other. Like people are complimenting you or people are helping you in some way, and it doesn't quite click for you what that means and how strong that is and how others, don't really receive that in the way that you do, because you might still sort of be pulled down by what you're experiencing over the last 6 months, but coming to a head in the first half of September. You're still feeling that. So someone comes up to you and like writes you out a check for $1 million and you like don't even really see it happening because you're stuck in the past. That's sort of an exaggerated idea, but that's sort of something that you need to think of. Like, who is really offering you a helping hand, and can you see that instead of, turning the other way and looking back at what happened? Because it's not so much in your nature to be a past tripper, unless you've got a lot of Cancer or Scorpio or water energy in general, then you may be more attuned to living in that way. But one way or another, Geminis, you just have to see it. You have to activate the fire within yourself. You've got all that Wands court card energy, fire and earth energy, again with Queen of Pentacles too, which is not the most harmonious of elements together, but it feels like the perfect mixture for you right now. Again, Page of Wands is your central theme in the month of September, which is such a blessing for you, I truly feel. For some of you, that could be starting a relationship with a younger fire energy. Or even if it's not a relationship, there's an inspiration from a fire energy around, and it's really exactly what you need. And I also sense it to be your own creativity throughout this sort of crossing over and overcoming, rising above of the situation, you find some type of inspiration or creativity that generates a new path for you, which you have wanted for a long time, and which really carries you, I would say, throughout the rest of this year, and gives you a new purpose to strive for quite a while to come. But anyway, Geminis, I've so enjoyed giving you this reading, and I'm quite happy for you. There's, it's a little bit foggy in the beginning of the month, and there's an atmosphere and environment for pain there, sure, but it's definitely compensated by tenfold by beautiful situations coming through. So don't worry too much about it. Just remember that the tenfold compensation comes regardless of what you're going through. And that feels like a strong theme for a lot of people this month. So anyway, if you haven't had the opportunity yet to subscribe to my channel, I would so appreciate that. You can click the center of your screen to book a private reading with me and find my Patreon page. They're both there on that link. And check the description box as usual if you want to follow me on social media or see anything else that is connected to me. And we will be talking soon. Geminis, bye.